At least 5 people have been killed in Gaza after overnight Israeli strikes hit a residential area in the besieged enclave. The attacks early on Saturday hit a building on Al-Thalatini Street in Gaza City, medical sources told the Wafa news agency.
2 roadside bomb blasts in northwestern Pakistan have killed at least 7 people. The first explosion on Saturday hit a vehicle, and the second was detonated as rescuers responded, police said.
The Oil and Gas Regulatory Authority, OGDRA, has officially notified a substantial reduction in the price of kerosene oil following the government's major fuel relief package. Under the new notification, kerosene oil will now be sold at Rs 233.90 bars per litre, down from the previous rate of Rs 282.99 per litre.
The Lahore Electric Supply Company, LESCO, on Friday inaugurated Lahore's first 180 kV electric vehicle EV fast charging station on Shami Road, marking a significant step toward promoting electric mobility in the city. Silas LESCO, Chief Executive Officer Enga M. Ramzan Butt, inaugurated the facility. The company provided a fast-track grid connection and technical support to ensure the station became operational within a short period. Deputy Prime Minister and Foreign Minister Ishaq Dar on Saturday departed for Cairo to participate in a meeting bringing together the foreign ministers of Pakistan, Egypt, Saudi Arabia and Turkey. The Foreign Office announced Dar's departure on the social media platform X.
Prime Minister Anthony Albanese says Australia will do whatever we can to curb H5N1 bird flu after the first mainland case was confirmed in a seabird, which means the virus has now spread to every continent. Tels confirmed a migratory brown skua found in Western Australia's Cape Le Grand National Park had the deadly virus, authorities said on Saturday, and a giant petrel found in the same area was also suspected to be infected.
Lebanese marine ecologist Mona Khalil, who was severely wounded after an Israeli strike hit her home near Tyre last week, has died, according to local reports. Khalil, 77, succumbed to her wounds on Friday. The same day, Israel escalated air attacks on southern Lebanon, killing at least 50 people and injuring dozens, despite the risk posed to a fragile peace deal between Iran and the United States.
Reports circulating on social media and various online platforms claiming that the 120 km/h speed limit has been restored on Pakistan's motorways are inaccurate, as the restriction remains in force, according to the National Highways and Motorway Police, NHMP. The clarification comes amid growing speculation that the government had reinstated the previous motorway speed limit for cars and light transport vehicles, LTVs.
Karachi Water and Sewerage Corporation, KWSC, has finalised a special emergency plan to ensure uninterrupted water supply and efficient drainage services during Muharram al-Haram and Ashura. The measures have been introduced on the directives of Karachi Mayor Barrister Murtaza Wahab and KWSC CEO Ahmed Ali Siddiqui, with officials ordered to remain on high alert throughout Muharram.
Finance Minister Mohammed Aurangzeb on Saturday asserted that the proposed budget for the next fiscal year, FY27, would set the foundation for accelerating the sustainable growth recorded in the past 2 years. His address follows the NA's discussions earlier in the day on the 140 recommendations made by the Senate on the budget. United States President Donald Trump has said that Pakistan really helped Washington with the Memorandum of Understanding with Iran. He made the remarks during an interview with American news outlet Axios. During the interview, the US president was asked about which global leaders he liked.
Social activist Zulfikar Ali Bhutto Jr. is one of Pakistan's most prominent voices raising awareness about human immunodeficiency virus, HIV, and he has actor Shahryar Munawar in his corner. The two posted a reel on Instagram on Friday talking about the virus and how freely available treatment can help patients and society.
When US and Israeli bombs first began falling on Iran at the end of February, China's leaders were staring at the very real possibility of another friendly regime being decapitated, much like had happened with Venezuela only weeks before. The view is quite different nearly 4 months later. The United States and Iran have reached an interim agreement after weeks of peace talks. The regime in Tehran remains in place, and the war is widely seen to have exposed the limits of American power.
Returning was beautiful in the sense of going back to one's country, but it was very exhausting physically, emotionally, financially and mentally because everything has changed. 37-year-old Hayam tells Al Jazeera she is one of more than 3 million displaced people to return to Syria since the fall of the al-Assad regime in 2024.
US envoys and Iran's foreign minister are expected in Switzerland for talks on cementing a peace deal, but more Israeli strikes in Lebanon are putting pressure on the agreement. Special envoys Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner, son-in-law of the United States President Donald Trump, were headed for Switzerland, US media reported on Friday. After scheduled negotiations between the US and Iran, they were postponed. Security researchers at Paradigm Shift have published a detailed report describing a security vulnerability affecting several Apple devices. The flaw, called Usblighter 8, is linked to the USB system and certain Apple silicon chips. According to the report, the exploit is caused by a hardware bug in the USB controller, along with a firmware configuration flaw. Since the problem exists at the hardware level, it is considered unpatchable.
Deployment of an innovative bioartificial oxygenics tree technology has been approved as part of the Punjab government's efforts to combat smog and air pollution, marking a significant step towards improving environmental quality and public health across Punjab. Terra Spark Chief Executive Officer Dr. Sarfraz Ahmad, in a statement here on Friday, said that the environment-friendly technology developed by Terra Spark PVT Limited has received formal certification from the Punjab Environmental Protection Agency, EPE, which verified its effectiveness as a scientific alternative solution for enhancing air quality through advanced green technology. A total of 278,563 Pakistanis registered for overseas employment during the first 5 months of 2026, with labourers and drivers accounting for the majority of workers seeking jobs abroad. According to data released by the Bureau of Emigration and Overseas Employment, BN labourers topped the list with 171,206 registrations, followed by drivers with 52,652. Together, the two categories accounted for nearly 80% of all overseas employment registrations during January-May 2026.
The Pakistan Goods Transport Alliance, PGTA, has announced a 15% reduction in goods transport fares nationwide following the government's recent decrease in petroleum prices. Speaking to the media in Karachi, PGTA President Malik Shehzad Awan welcomed the fuel price reduction, saying it had provided significant relief to transport operators facing rising operational costs.
Apple's first foldable iPhone, widely rumoured to launch as the iPhone Ultra, has appeared in another major leak. After earlier CAD renders, dummy units and concept-based hands-on videos, a new video now offers one of the clearest looks yet at Apple's upcoming foldable flagship. The latest leak comes from YouTuber John Prosser of Front Page Tech, who shared a detailed video showcasing the alleged iPhone Ultra from multiple angles.
As the sound of Israeli artillery shells echoed around their hilltop homes close to Lebanon, residents of Trump Heights struggled to hide their dismay at the deal to end the war on Iran, but were not giving up on their hero in the White House under the US-Iran agreement announced earlier this week to end the Middle East war. Fighting is also supposed to cease between Israel and Hezbollah in Lebanon.
Bolivia's President Rodrigo Paz declared a state of emergency Saturday after weeks of mass anti-government protests over rising living costs and economic pressure that have since grown into an escalating political crisis. Protests, backed by workers' unions and farmers, are demanding Paz resign. Road blockades have caused shortages in parts of the country, fuel, and ground the country's economy to a halt over the past 50 days, according to Reuters.
10-man Paraguay eliminated Turkey from the 2026 World Cup with a courageous defensive effort to seal a dramatic 1-0 win after suffering a dismissal before half-time, with the fastest goal of the tournament proving the difference, fired up after their humiliating 4-1 opening match defeat by the United States. Paraguay went ahead when Matias Galarza wound up from 25 metres, 27 yards, and fired a low rocket home after 64 seconds on Friday evening to eclipse Ismail Saibari's 71-second strike in Morocco's wonder win over Scotland hours before.
Iran says it is ready to move forward with diplomacy with the United States, but insists Washington must ensure Israel complies with the agreement to end the war. Tehran has repeatedly said the deal requires an end to hostilities across the region, including in Lebanon. The comments come as a U.S. official told Reuters that Israel and Hezbollah have agreed to a ceasefire in Lebanon, despite reports of continued Israeli attacks. Iranian Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi said the U.S. has a commitment and responsibility to ensure the deal is upheld on all fronts.
Oppo has officially confirmed that the global launch of the Reno 16 series will take place on June 25, just a day after the company began teasing the new smartphones in collaboration with K-pop girl group Baby Monster. While the teaser campaign hinted that the launch was close, Oppo had not revealed an official date until now.
Banu. 7 people were killed and 3 others injured in 2 explosions in Markabera, a semi-tribal mountainous area of Banu's Wazir subdivision. Banu District Police Officer, DPO, Yassir Afridi confirmed that a total of 7 people were martyred and 3 others were injured in the 2 blasts.
10-man Paraguay beat Turkey 1-0 at the World Cup on Friday, a result that kept their hopes alive and also guaranteed that co-hosts the USA win Group D. Turkey's defeat means they become the second team after Haiti to be eliminated from contention. US director and television creator James Burrows, who worked behind the scenes on Friends, Cheers, Taxi and many other beloved comedies, has died, People magazine reported on Friday. He was 85. We celebrate the extraordinary life and enduring legacy of James Jimmy Burrows, who passed away peacefully today, surrounded by his loving family. His family said in a statement, the time and place of his death were not disclosed.
The H5N1 strain of bird flu has for the first time been found in Australia. The country's agriculture ministry confirmed. It means the highly contagious variant has now reached every continent. The disease was found in a migratory seabird, a brown skua, in remote Western Australia, Agriculture Minister Julie Collins said on Saturday.
African and Caribbean countries have called for a formal apology and reparations from countries that benefited from the transatlantic slave trade. The demands come at the end of a 3-day conference in Ghana, which looked to advance the push for reparatory justice.